Hey, what's up everybody and welcome to the video. This time is the SH Figuarts Kamen Rider Ohma Zio. So, let's get started. If you've watched the series, you know what this is about. Otherwise, I'm not going to spoil it. I just need you to know that I absolutely love the look of this figure. While it's hindered in some places for in terms of articulation and the way it looks, overall, it passes the overall good test for me. Minor gripes that I've been suffering with Kamen Rider stuff, but I don't think that's too much of an issue. But we'll get into that as we get along with the video. Now, let me start by saying there is something utterly regal about this figure, and it shows in just about everything it does. As you can see, its motif is time, as it has watch hands on the backside. And the gold and black really complement it really well with the hints of gray. So let's jump into what's going on with this cool guy. Now, he suffers from what I call the collar stiffness. Whereas with Kamen Rider stuff, if the rider has a collar, sometimes the neck won't be long enough to get that extra bit of range to allow for movement. So right now, as you can see, he only go left and right. You can go up and down, very much so. And you can also rotate over the collar. But if the neck peg, at least the joint, was a little bit longer, it wouldn't have to suffer from it looking so wonky when he does look up. You know what I mean? But he has the look. He has definitely the look. Now, as far as the rest of the articulation goes, our arms are, well, one thing it does cover is that the arm is still attached on the shoulder piece. And the little downside is that they actually didn't give it a movable flap under here for the gold. I'm a little disappointed by that. But you can pull the arm out a bit and rotate the arm up. So that way you get about this much range if you're going to aim outward. You still do have bicep swivel though, which doesn't hinder anything on the shoulder pad. And it's still double jointed. So as you can see, you can move your arm up. It also looks like it's very cluttered in here, which is a downside of something. But if you're going to have him move crazy, this is not going to be the figure for you. But if you want him to have those elegant moves, this is definitely going to be the way. So there's a certain, I don't know, it's a certain sort of mysticism to it. And I guess I'll get into that in a little bit. As far as the upper torso goes, now we have this sash, which is a part of the armor on the piece of him. And as you can see for the left-hand side, it's going to hinder this left shoulder. But as you can see, there's ways around it by just rotating the arm up. And you still get all your pivot and movement, but you don't get all that range for going upward, which kind of sucks. But overall, it's a really nice look on it. So here, you're definitely aiming for more aesthetic as opposed to articulation. On the back side, the clock arms do move. So in case you wanted to know what's going on or what time it is or set a certain piece to a time as like a little inside joke, you can totally do it with the watch hands on the back side. As far as the rest of the waist goes, even with the sash in its way, you can still move left and move right with your upper torso. And you still have a forward crunch and a backwards crunch with the figure. The only downside being is that you kind of don't see what you're doing with the sash. I recommend you put the sash over the belt driver so that way you have an extra little bit of range to go forward. That's my recommendation. Definitely gives you that extra range. And it gives you the extra movement for the upper torso to move left and right. So keep that in mind. As far as the legs, we use the standard SHF drop down method with the thigh swivel that rotates out. And we have double jointed legs. We have ankle pivot as well. And we have toe pivot. Now, if you want to get good poses out of this guy, I highly know that you can. That's not the issue here. The issue here is trying to make it look good with both the watch clocks and the sash kind of getting in your way of setting you up like armor wise. You know what I mean? Now, as you can see here, I'm actually going to set these clock arms down. Oop. And it kind of already led to what I was getting into next, but we'll get into that. So I'm going to put this piece back on so I can get into that for you guys in a second. Oop, got it upside down. So as you can see here, so I pose them up. You can still get posed up. You can still look good. I think the only issue is that, like I said, you have to figure out how you want it to look. Now, me personally, the thing I enjoy most is that he can still do any sort of rider kick movement. That front sash piece won't get in the way. You turn your clock hands up because you're about to do a finisher. So as you can see here, rider kick movements are still done very easily. Now I'm going to set him back in a standing up motion so we can go over his belt driver. Well, his driver, I said belt driver. Wow. And as you can see here, his is actually covered in a brand new maneuver. You get these two golden pieces which cover over it because he normally does not use his the Rod Watch. What's really cool about this, though, is that they still gave him Rod Watches. So just like in the show, when you see him use certain Rod Watches, which he actually commands by levitating over him, here you have the Cougar Rod Watch, which does not have its stickers, which I need to contact SHF Upgrade over. You have the Agito Watch, I believe. I can't remember if this is Agito or someone else. And then you have the Drive Rod Watch. So even if you wanted to put them here inside of the slot holder, you can put them here, but you know, it doesn't look that good considering that it's meant to have the other pieces there. But you can actually put them in the holders on the arms. So that's also really cool if you wanted to go back to doing it that way, the classic Rod Watch hold away. He can hold them with no issue. Me personally, I prefer to have the final Ohma ZO pieces on for the driver. Oop, almost lost it. Voila. And it still rotates for those of you that are curious, which is very, very nice. It's really nice to still have that gimmick there, even though he doesn't use it in that way. Real quick, now we're going to jump into the hands. I'm going to lay him down. Well, not lay him down. Going to have him stand up, I should say. Like I said, he suffers from this neck issue, and that's probably the only thing that kind of bugs me out, that they didn't give the neck a long enough piece. Here we have the open attack palms, which he kind of uses these hands for attacking, shooting fire, telekinesis, halting, like all sorts of stuff. This guy is insanely powerful, so these hands will probably come in use for a bunch of stuff. Here you have your more pointing, relaxing hands. And here you have your hands that actually hold Rod Watches for when you want to do any sort of dynamic posing. He can hold the Rod Watch in hand, so he can look cool there. Overall, I really love this piece, especially getting it right as the show ended. Made a lot of sense for me, so that was really nice. And it's good to have it. Hopefully we get more final forms, because lately we've not been getting true final forms or anything like that out of Bandai. So I'm hoping that changes very soon. And my focus keeps going off. Real quick though, now we're going to jump into size comparisons, talk about that stuff. We're going to compare him to his normal form, normal Zeo, which, due to time travel and nature of the show, he actually fights himself at several points in the show. And as you can see, size-wise, Ohma has a little bit of height on him. Here he is next to Gates, which I can't wait for Gates to revive. And Walls here. So you can see these four guys look around the same height. SHF tried to keep these guys in the same size, so it works out that way. Now we're going to compare it to some other stuff, so let's get started on that. Here he is with Renewal Kamen Rider Kuga. And like I said, if you've watched the show, you know it's totally possible for these guys to technically be summoned and coexist at the same time. So voila, there we go. Here he is next to a Lightning Collection Psycho Ranger. This is the domestic versus the import height. As you can see, that's what it looks like. Here he is next to an Articulated Icons Ninja, or in this case, Ninja Master. It's a little bit smaller than him. Next up, we have Mythic Legions Orc, a red orc at that. Special orc, a team leader. A man who knows what he wants. And these guys are gigantic next to him. So these, you can use these guys as goons if you want, or even have it go against them. You never know at this point. It's your world. Let it rock. Here he is next to a Mezco Batman. And I'm actually going to move it around so you guys can see the body. So Mezco Batman next to Ohma ZO. Then we have a few other things. Let's go with... Ooh. Wait, where'd it go? I just had it. Oh. And just in case you're wondering, here he is next to a NECA figure. And then I'm also going to do SHF Shaka Combat Man. and a Marvel Legends Black Knight. First Black Knight. Let's get him standing straight up. Shocker combat. Oh, or would it be combatant? Depending on how you do it. So Shocker combatant. So as you can see, the SHF guys really tiny, but you know, they're worth your bang and buck. And now I need to find. I don't know where it went actually. I wanted to compare it to the DC Black Manta, but I don't know where I put it. So I'm gonna have to add him in a photo after. Oh wait, here it is. Want to make sure you guys see it in case you want to cross universes and things like that. Here he is with the Black Manta, who's very top heavy due to not only his backpack, but his big old head. So I'm going to have to hold him up. In the meantime, guys, I do hope you enjoy it. I hope you find it informative. I hope you actually check out Kamen Rider ZO so you can actually get a look and glimpse into this and check it out. You know, you may like it. In the meantime, hope you do good, be good, drink your water, guys. Later.